I want to speak for a moment on the art of slipping away. You'll hear me talk a lot about relationships because they're totally, completely important. You'll hear me speak a lot on people because they're totally, completely important. And you watching this, you matter. People do matter to me. And I'm going to an event tonight with my church with several people, and we're one less than we could have been, because let me back up a little. Let me back up a lot. When I first started going to this church, after church one Sunday afternoon, I walked in to a convenience store to grab something to eat, and it had a little deli thing in there too. And someone, as soon as I walk in the door, is like, "Hey Karen, how are you?" Or just says hello or whatever. And I was like, there was 3 tables over there, and I'm like, who actually said that? So I'm like, hey, generically walking on awkwardly. And then I didn't realize until I left when I saw this person, and I still didn't know who they were. Because, and I just waved, but I knew they were for sure talking to me. So I just waved, just real happy as though I knew who they were. I felt so bad. But I left, and then it wasn't until the next week, a week later, I figured out who they were. When I first started going to this church, now they pegged me. They knew who I was. Of course, I was the new one. But they sat in the back of the church, and I had just walked toward the front. And of course, had my back to everybody, and I didn't know them. But I got to where I knew them a little better. Not a real long time, but I knew them better. And this person was very kind, for what I got to know of him. But he, like 2 weeks ago, asked us for prayer at the end of a service, and he said, "Yeah, they found a growth. I want to go have it checked out tomorrow." Well, that tomorrow, I don't know what happened, man, but that tomorrow turned into some heart stents and a downturn of events that I just had this feeling I needed to go. I needed to go see them. Even, they were in the hospital. It's like an hour and a half away. I needed to go. And listen how God orchestrated this. Last Friday morning, I got a phone call at 4 a.m. from a girl that very briefly worked in my department, and she was in the hospital. So I just knew, the Lord was telling me, you need to go. So I went to see her. Well, she's not only in the same town, she's in the same hospital, she's on the same floor, she's in the same hallway as this gentleman. So I popped in to see them both. And when I walked into his room, he just held my hand, never let it go the whole time I was in there. And we visited, we talked. He was very grateful, it seemed, that I was there to visit him. And then he was gone. That 2 weeks, and that go check it out, then turned into a spiraling turn of events to the point that his funeral is tomorrow. So to you, I say this: use your time with people very wisely. Take no one for granted, and know that any moment they could just slip away. Those that you value, those you love, those you care about, make sure they know it. Don't waste a moment. Life is short.